me tell you about a friend. It's Craig LeBlanc where the good times never end. Talking Parks and Rec, it's a show you gotta know. Welcome one and all to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. It's the Daily Parks and Rec Show.
And inclusion means that you give opportunities to all persons that they can participate independently at their own ability. Inclusion is a change of perspective for universal design. It's not, a lot of people say, well, that's going to be added to my budget. How can I put in a universal changing table? It's going to cost more. We need to have a change of perspective, which Parks and Rec is a leader on this, and that it's not extra, like your video said. Inclusion is not extra. It's just humanity.
Welcome to the Daily Parks and Rec Show Leadership Series. In this episode, we celebrate our 300th episode with a special guest, Jeanne, Director of Parks and Recreation for Lincoln City, Oregon. From Oregon's breathtaking coastline to its vibrant community spaces, Jeanne shares how her team turns challenges into opportunities, leading with inclusion, innovation, and heart. Hear how Lincoln City built one of the coast's first fully inclusive playgrounds, launched community partnerships that bring generations together, and pioneered accessibility from shoreline to trail. We'll dive into Jeanne's journey from lifeguard to leader and explore why Parks and Rec isn't just about fun and games. It's about purpose, connection, and belonging. Because in every great community, there's a Parks and Rec professional making it thrive. Let's dive in. There we go. All right. We are live again with a special episode and a special guest all at the same time. This is our 300th episode. So we started this journey back in December, January of this year. And now we've just crossed a milestone of 300 episodes in Parks and Recreation, interviewing guests just like we have today. Jeanne, all the way from Lincoln City, Oregon.
Yes.
How are you doing? How did your week treat you this week so far?
It's going great, Craig, and congratulations on 300 episodes in 1 year. That is amazing.
Yeah, it really is a team effort. I know a lot of times people think it's just me, but it's there's 8 of us working full time, and then if you count our show host, there's probably closer to 20 people working on this project.
That's fantastic.
So it's hats off to them. They've a lot of dedication, a lot of behind the scenes work that goes into this, and a lot of AI. We are definitely grinding the silicone overlords.
Oh yeah.
We're making that AI earn its money.
Well, I can say in the professional Parks and Rec world, we really appreciate what you all are doing. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, it's been great to highlight y'all's story. It's such a beautiful story to tell nationwide, and I don't think we've done a good enough job telling what goes on in Parks and Rec.
Yeah, right.
Because it really is one of the most beautiful industries I've ever covered.
I agree.
And it made me really question why I chose my career path in life. And I'm like, man, I should have gotten into Parks and Rec when I was 20.
Yeah. A lot of us have questioned it that way too, Craig. We're right alongside you.
Yep. All right. But before we get started, we wanted to go ahead and let vendors know how they can help us build this huge media company for Parks and Recreation. It's a heavy lift, and there's a lot of topics that need covering. There's a lot of nuanced parts of Parks and Rec that fit under the Parks and Rec umbrella that you might never even think about. A great example might be urban forestry or farmers markets or graveyards, or you name it. There's so many things that end up in Parks and Rec that there's a lot of wisdom around that's kind of buried in the heads of people that have been dedicating their life to this. So we are looking for strategic partners that kind of work with the Parks and Rec community, deliver the value and the services they do. We've got about 17 conversations going right now, but if you're interested in helping us to build this for the Parks and Rec community, please hit me up on LinkedIn. And then one of our earliest sponsors was Palco LED Lights. They're able to ship municipal grade 100,000 hour lights that you replace yourself with your local electrician, and are able to redo an entire ball field for like 35,000 versus what many times is over a couple 100,000. And they've been doing that for almost 15 years. So if you can send some business their way, they send funding our way, and we keep gas in the tank, keep building this thing. So Sherry, why don't you go ahead and play number 5 and 8, and then we'll come back and start our discussion with Jeanne.
Are you a vendor, brand, or service provider ready to connect with the heartbeat of local communities? At DPRS Media Co., we tell the stories shaping parks and recreation across America. Through podcasts, live streams, videos, and newsletters, we reach frontline leaders, city directors, and decision makers every single week. From youth sports and facilities to programming and policy, our audience is your audience. Sponsoring or partnering with DPRS Media Co. puts your brand in front of the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. Launching a new product, growing your presence in public spaces, targeting cities, counties, or departments, DPRS is your trusted media partner. Whether you're in software, turf, aquatics, robotics, smart cities, or special events, partnering with DPRS puts your brand in the story. With commercials, interviews, social campaigns, newsletters, and live shows, we're your media team. Partner with us and grow your impact in the $200 billion parks and rec industry. DPRS Media Co. Stories that move parks and rec forward. Your audience is here. Let's meet them.
When you invest in our high-performance LED sports arena lights, you're not just upgrading your facilities, you're helping us illuminate the untold stories of parks and recreation communities. Every purchase directly supports the Daily Parks and Rec Show, a media platform on a mission to celebrate the heart and soul of our local parks and programs. From after-school activities to summer leagues, these spaces shape lives, and their stories deserve to be told. Why your support matters. Capturing community impact. Your contribution helps us assemble a talented team of digital artists, storytellers, and filmmakers to create compelling videos, articles, and short films that spotlight how Parks and Rec programs change lives. Sharing untold stories. From a child's first home run to lifelong friendships forged on the court, we'll document these priceless moments and share them with the world. Inspiring the next generation. By highlighting the joy, inclusivity, and opportunities found in our parks, we foster a deeper appreciation for these vital community spaces. Light up arenas, brighten futures. Your choice to install LED sports arena lights isn't just a smart investment in energy efficiency and performance, it's an investment in stories that deserve to be told. Be part of the story. Take action today. Purchase LED sports arena lights and help us shine a spotlight on the heartwarming stories that define our parks and communities. Contact us now to learn more about our products and how your support fuels the Daily Parks and Rec Show. Together, we'll shine a light on the moments that matter most.
All right. So, Jeanne, why don't you tell us a little bit about, before we get started on your journey, about what it's like to run a parks department in the state of Oregon and the association? Because, you know, you're all the way on the West Coast, and a lot of times, I mean, y'all take Parks and Rec, I think, to a whole nother level.
Thanks.
The beauty of the state and the topography, and it's just gorgeous out there. So maybe you can kind of let people know what it's like over there in Oregon.
Definitely will, Craig. Thanks. And my name is Jeannie, and I am out at Lincoln City Parks and Recreation. We are on the Oregon coast, and to run a department there, Craig, is just magical and fantastic. No lying, all truth there. It's when you mentioned earlier in the show that there's so many things that people don't realize happen in Parks and Recreation, you hit a chord with me right there. We here at Lincoln City Parks and Recreation, because we are a coastal town, we work with our residents and our tourists like all Parks and Rec agencies do. It's for anybody that accesses our public spaces, and we have such unique public spaces out here. We have a lot of green open space that houses trails and protected environmental sites. We oversee close to 30 beach accesses, public beach accesses, for people to be able to access the beach in a safe and accessible manner. We oversee, of course, parks and a community center. And then we oversee the public arts. We oversee public plazas, trash removal in the city, graffiti, transient camp, all of that. It's because we are a smaller town, the Parks and Rec Department takes on those tasks, and we're proud to do it and do a good job for our community.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like if there is an idea that any human could have in government, it always ends up on the to-do list of the Parks and Rec
I
Department.
think you're right about that, Craig. Yes. Sometimes we oversaw the bus system and transient for a few years, so sometimes we move full forward ahead to support our community, but
Right,
we could
right.
ask you a lot.
It's definitely the can-do department.
You're right about that.
Right.
Absolutely.
Now, when you say the shorelines, is that part of that iconic Oregon Pacific
is.
Coast shoreline that we see in the magazines and everything else?
Yes, yes. And I grew up on the East Coast, and I often parlay it to the coastline in Maine. It looks very similar. And the really neat thing about Oregon is that all of the shoreline is open to the public. So that is why we have so many public beach accesses. There's no private beach in Oregon. And
Really?
yeah.
And so
Yep.
that must have been intentional from long ago that the
It
state
was.
protected the shoreline for everyone to be able to use.
Yes, our state governor decades ago passed that declaration, and we're very proud of that in Oregon, and proud that anyone can access the beach at any time and enjoy it.
Yeah. Now, are y'all close to any major cities? Or
We
how-
are. We're very close to Salem, which is our state capital. We're about an hour away. We're 2 hours from Portland, 4 hours from Bend, Oregon. We are the hot spot. We're in Central Oregon coast for a lot of in-state tourists, but we also get a lot of international tourists. Washington, California, Idaho come out to our town.
Oh, gosh. I cannot wait to go visit y'all and hopefully attend Parks and Rec state meeting. That would be beautiful.
Yes, you have to come out here. We'd love to show you around.
Yeah, maybe. So we actually are attending. We're getting invites to attend. Well, we're scheduled to attend Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana,
Oh my goodness.
California next year. We've got
Great.
Florida in the pipeline, Texas, and so I would love to add Oregon to that list.
You got it, Craig. Next year, our conference is in Seaside with us, which is North Coast. I will connect with you with ORPA, and which is our professional state organization, and get you involved.
What time of year is it?
It's going to be in September next year. This year it was October, but September next year.
Oh man, by then we'll have a full-on camera crew for production film. We'll have it all done by then.
Great.
Yeah, by the time we go to California, our hardware and tech stack will almost have tripled.
Great.
And then we've
would
actually
love that.
started working with a couple of universities to provide interns that want exposure to
Good.
media creation and stuff. So we'll be traveling with some college interns,
Nice. That's
helping us to do all
fantastic.
this. Okay, so let's get into your life. And let me type in how to pronounce your name right here because I will mispronounce it.
It's okay. It's like Jeannie.
Jeannie.
It is Jeannie. Yeah.
Okay. That way I'll mess it up. All right. So Jeannie, tell us about who you were when you were a little girl.
Oh my goodness.
And what kind of person eventually pursues Parks and Rec, maybe?
Okay. Well, I had a very happy and fulfilled childhood because my family was very active in recreation, both indoor and outdoor. So I had many siblings, brother, sister. Regardless, we were all in sports year round. That's basketball, softball, soccer, running, cross country, swimming.
Oh, I love it.
Yes. And then we also did a lot of outdoor recreation, camping, hiking, cooking outdoors, scouts programs. And so by the time I became a teenager, I was very interested in all of that. And my first job at age 15 was being a lifeguard. And I continued being a lifeguard for 6 years through college. But my childhood was basically focused on recreation without ever the thought that I would go into a parks and recreation field.
Wow.
I didn't know it existed.
So what was, and we have a show actually right after the show, the Youth Sports Mastery show. And a lot of the conversation is trying to get kids away from this one sport, travel ball, from
Mhm.
pre-K all the way, and the kids just get burnt out. Maybe speak about how important it was for you to have that diversity of sports growing up.
Well, Craig, you are just hitting the nail on the head. We just had a talk about with my staff last week about that Parks and Recreation is very diverse, and it's not just about recreational sports leagues. It's about so many other programs that are coming to light or that have always been there. We just need to implement them.
Mhm.
I love the diversity. And one thing my parents did is they had us try sports, but if we didn't enjoy it, we could try something else. So I also did forensics, which is public speaking after school, drama, scouts, was swimming. So it was trying to find the niche of what you could do to be a healthy person, both physically and mentally.
Yeah,
So
and I noticed a lot of the Parks and Rec departments are offering even things like pottery and
yes,
performing arts and
yes,
ballet and gymnastics, which aren't your
exactly.
traditional like baseball, football, basketball
Right.
kind of sports.
Exactly. That is what we're doing too. And we're totally branched out. We're offering game classes. We're offering dance classes, theater. I'm trying to think some more that just
Y'all
came
don't do
up.
esports by any chance, do you?
We're starting that.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I've got some exciting news for you then.
What's that?
We produce a monthly podcast with Henry County, Georgia, which is an excellent Parks and Rec department. And they have a gaming facility. And so we had the idea that we do a nationwide league where different Parks and Rec departments can compete with another department that's across the country. And we
That is
run
very
it
cool.
just like you would do a local regional football league.
Yep.
So we'll probably we're kind of cooking that in the kitchen right now.
I
But
think that's a great idea.
yeah, so I'll be reaching out to the entire Daily Parks and Rec Show network for anyone that has a gaming facility and would like to participate in this. I think that would be
Fantastic.
a blast.
Yeah, that would be a blast.
All right, so then you're a lifeguard. Let's take it
Yes.
from there.
So from there, I went to school and got a degree in social work. But during the entire time I was in school, I was a referee, or I paid referee for local leagues. Or
wow. How old were you then?
Oh my goodness,
16,
19, 20. Yeah, that's not easy.
That's pressure right there.
It is. It helped me gain confidence.
I bet.
It helped me also say to parents, hey, if you don't like my calls, you can do this yourself here.
Right.
So
Here's the whistle. You're up.
yes, I'm being paid minimum wage.
Right.
So
right.
I continued doing that and also lifeguarding. And by the time I had graduated with my bachelor's, one of my managers at a Parks and Rec community center had said to me, you know, you could go into a career of Parks and Rec, because at that point I was working in wilderness therapy, which is like an outward bound program where you take adjudicated youth out to the wilderness and you, it was a year-round residential program where we would teach them outdoor skills and also school and therapy and that sort of thing.
What's an adjudicated youth? Probably should know what that means.
Yes, that means a youth that has been through the court system. And in our program for wilderness therapy, they had a choice of being in a juvenile hall facility or participating in a wilderness therapy program.
No way.
Yeah, so they had that choice, and if they chose the wilderness therapy, they would go into our program.
What does that look like, wilderness therapy?
So wilderness therapy is really about getting, specifically when I worked with the juveniles, getting them outside of their initial experience at home and being independent and responsible for their own actions and thoughts. And that includes basically surviving in the wilderness. That's kind of a strong statement, but we built our own teepees. We cooked our own food that was already prepackaged for us. We hiked, we swam, we did group therapy. It's a pretty robust program for sure. Now, this was over 30 years ago, so lots of things could have changed.
Man, I can't imagine a young person not wanting to choose that over staying in some other alternative, whatever that might be.
Right. Well, a lot of them chose us.
Yeah, I'd want to stay in that as an adult.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right. Now, as an adult, you pay for that kind of stuff.
That's true. It's very
Yeah.
true.
It's almost like a big vacation.
Right.
Okay, so then you're refereeing, you're
Yep.
or you're officiating, and you're what, 19, and
Oh,
so
I've graduated at this point. I'm in wilderness therapy. I'm still on the side. You have energy as a young adult. I was working full time in wilderness therapy, but I still always enjoyed lifeguarding. I was working front desk at community centers and refereeing. And my boss at Parks and Recreation said, you can always get a master's in Parks and Recreation management and have a career in this. And I said, what? Like, where? I was in Oregon at that point. They did not have a master's. This was the 90s in Parks and Recreation management. I started looking into it, and lo and behold, West Virginia University did have a master's in Parks, Recreation, and Tourism Management. And I was able to go back there and complete my master's degree.
Now, unfortunately, I know I've heard a lot of these programs are kind of starting to get shut down. Are there any universities you're aware of that still kind of offer?
Oh, yeah.
Degree?
Both of our top universities here in Oregon offer a master's program now. So I haven't heard about them shutting down. We're quite active with Oregon State University. I like that you brought up that you're working with college interns, because we try to do the same. But maybe because it's Oregon, we've got a very strong Parks and Rec program in 2 of our state colleges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you have any connections with a university, this week we actually opened up an internship program to work with the Daily Parks and Rec show.
Oh, great.
For students in broadcast journalism that would learn to do essentially what I'm doing, but we also teach them all the backstage stuff, all the technical stuff, how to be a good interviewer, stage presence, that kind of stuff. So we've got 2 universities that we're partnering with, but it's open to the whole country, but we're just now announcing this. So
Oregon State University and their extension services are fantastic to work with. I can get you linked up with them too, Craig.
Yeah, that would be good. This is a networking event for us then right now.
Yes, it is. That's how it works in Parks and Rec.
That's right. That's what I was going to say.
It is.
Parks and Rec people have got to be the most networked people among themselves.
True. We're very good at partnering. We have to. It's the only way we can survive.
Right, because you'll have limited resources,
right.
And so you can find some program that's working well in Florida and say, we're just going to copy and paste that
exactly.
one. Make it our own.
And the thing is, no Parks and Rec agencies have any issue with that. They're like, please don't reinvent the wheel. Use what we have. We're happy to help you.
Yeah. Okay, so when did you get your first full-time job into Parks and Rec?
So I did back in 1999 in Portland Parks and Recreation. And I stayed there for close to 19 years, working my way up. So again, started front desk, started in outdoor recreation. That was one of my favorite jobs. I got to lead hikes up South Sister and Mount St. Helens and kayak tours and that sort of thing. And but worked my way up in management, became a recreation coordinator, then a supervisor of community centers. And then the director position opened up in 2017 in Lincoln City, and I was fortunate to apply and get the job. I was thrilled.
No way. So you've been there how many years now?
Lincoln City, 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah, so a total of 26 years in full-time Parks and Rec.
Yeah. And so was that your first position as a director, or did you start out as a director?
Yes, I started as a director after I was recreation supervisor in Portland Parks and Recreation.
Mm-hmm.
I applied for the director at Lincoln City.
Man, so you know where all the bodies are buried over there in Lincoln City. Have buried some of them yourself.
Yes, right, exactly.
Right. And so tell us about that town as far as population-wise. What is it? It's kind of a tourist town, right?
It is. And again, like I said, it is truly magical. I know I'm biased, but it's a fact. We're a rural community. So we have 10,000 residents within the city, but our Parks and Rec services reach out throughout the county. So we support resident recreation, both indoor and out, for Otis, Neskowin, Nestucca, close to Tillamook, Depot Bay. So we reach out a lot. Yeah. But every week we have 30,000 visitors come in and utilize our hotels, our restaurants, and our Parks and Rec facilities. Mm-hmm. So we go up 300% every week, and we have to be ready to serve that population too. We oversee all the public restrooms, like I said, the beach accesses, the foot washes, the outdoor warm showers for the surfers. So there's a lot going on. What's really, I think, neat about Lincoln City is we are a very unique coastal town. I feel we're very forward thinking. We find a lot of new information from other Parks and Rec departments or just that's out there and do our best to implement it, especially when it comes to accessibility and inclusion. So I believe we're known throughout the state and elsewhere as a very welcoming town, that we welcome all, and we do our best to make that happen.
Yeah. Now, how do y'all, because I've talked with several towns that are right outside of big towns. I'm trying to think, is it Round Rock or something right outside of Austin? And, you know, they kind of have this issue where they have so many out of town visitors that use their park systems, but then they also have to kind of represent the people that pay the property tax.
Exactly.
And so, do we build something for the out of town people because they're bringing in revenue for hotels and stuff, or do we build something for the local community? How do y'all kind of balance that?
So we do it for both, Craig. Our vision is everyone's welcome. Whether you're a visitor or a resident, you step foot into our public spaces, you have every right to use that space, whether you're a property owner in Lincoln City or not. Thankfully, in the state of Oregon, our Parks and Rec department does receive TRT funds, and that's transient room tax, which means anyone that stays in a hotel is paying taxes into our budget to help fund our public beach accesses in our parks. So that kind of helps us with the story too, of saying we welcome all, because the tourists are paying for our services.
I see. Okay. And then how about special events? Do y'all have anything going on there?
Yes, we have over 30 special events a year,
Wow.
and we work very closely with our visitors and convention bureau. We do everything from, you know, typical Parks and Rec events like National Night Out and swim meets and league tournaments, that sort of thing, to 5K race series where we have 5K races in our open space trails and on our beach, and lots of other events too. We try to really cater to the community.
Now, tell us about y'all's partnerships that y'all might have to run those events, from food vendors or like local companies that support that.
Yeah, we couldn't do it without our partners, 100%. We work actually with a ton of nonprofits here in Lincoln City to help supplement our programs and our events. So that ranges everywhere from our Friends of Lincoln City Parks and Rec group that helps us run events to a local swim club 501c3, a local youth league 501c3, the North Lincoln Fire Department. They all assist in us being able to work with them. We have a lot of MOUs, IGAs, partnership agreements, and we value those tremendously, because there's no way we have a department about 50 staff, half of them are full-time, but there's just no way we have the capacity to offer everything we want to the public. But luckily these groups step in and work with us to utilize our facilities and center to be able to provide these events and programs.
Yeah, because like you said, a lot of these Parks and Rec departments, they just feel tapped out. They want to offer more. They get the feedback from their community. They want this, but they're like, look, we're maxed out. We do have these facilities available.
Yes.
And so your program or your department, it says, well, is there a nonprofit that can run and facilitate it, and we just keep the building up and running?
Yes.
And it you can kind of like expand your bandwidth.
Yes.
In that way.
And our fields and our parks, if they would like to utilize them. We have just so many. Like Meals on Wheels is another one. Our senior center that offers senior activities is a 501c3. And it really helps tell our story too, because like you mentioned before, Craig, everyone expects Parks and Recreation to have this on their list and to get this done. And we do want to get it done. One of my favorite quotes that I've ever heard from another Parks and Rec professional was from Director Charles Jordan from Portland Parks and Recreation. He said that Parks and Rec is more than just fun and games. And I've always thought that. I've always agreed. Yes, we're more than fun and games. We are fun and games, but we get the work done. The reality is we can't get everything done, so we've got to partner.
Yeah. Yeah, and you really do. Those partnerships, I think, are key to being able to deliver those services. Because, I mean, how do you become a Parks and Rec department that can do pottery well?
Right.
But you may have a nonprofit that this is what they eat, live, and breathe if you can just have room.
Exactly.
Yeah. Tell us about that 5K stuff. I haven't heard much about those. So y'all kind of run those, or how many?
Oh
of those
yeah, yeah. So that's another idea. When I worked at Portland Parks and Rec, we started a 5K series there, and it just blew up. And so when I got to Lincoln City, they had already been doing some races, which was fantastic, and we just continued them. And it's thrilling. It's fun to do a 5K race on the beach. It's fun to do it in a very green, tranquil, open space area on a coastal town where there's ocean mist and green foliage everywhere. So we keep those going. We do 3 a year, and we get a lot of residents and tourists that come out for them.
Yeah. Now, is that something that I think Oregon in general as a population is a very kind of outdoorsy kind of population, correct?
Most certainly. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I know we interviewed a ton of people from Colorado. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
People just love their outdoor spaces.
It's true. I could tell you a really neat story about the love here in Lincoln City for outdoor space. Okay. So back in 1998, the residents of Lincoln City passed a bond, a $3 million bond, to purchase acreage in Lincoln City for open space. An open space zoned, I won't make this too dry. The definition of open space here in Lincoln City is, number one, it's for environmental preservation. Number two, it's for passive human recreation, which is bird watching, hiking, walking. So they passed that bond, and they bought up over 500 acres of open space, which is 1/8 of the acreage in Lincoln City, to keep it zoned for all perpetuity. Did I say that right? For all time, as open space. And since then, we've implemented 9 trails. And it's all because the residents here are just so forward thinking, didn't want to lose that precious land, wanted it available for preservation and for recreation. And this was done in the 90s.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so good. And especially since, I love my home state, Louisiana, but it's not nearly as beautiful to preserve. I remember when I went to school in Kentucky, I called back home and said, "Mom, we live in an ugly state. They have beautiful things to look at up here." And same thing with y'all. The scenery there is just breathtaking.
Yeah, it really is.
Y'all are able to kind of preserve that.
Yeah, we don't want it all developed. I mean, development does occur, and we appreciate that. But,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're at the halfway point, and Sherry, I moved it around. I want to get Jeannie's feedback. We made this somewhat of a commercial for the industry in general, because as we all saw in COVID, unfortunately, Parks and Rec, many of them got put on this chopping block because they were not considered an essential service. And then as soon as it got shut down, we realized how much of an essential service Parks and Rec was.
So true.
So we made this promo for the industry. It's on our YouTube channel. It's not copyrighted. Anybody can use it. And I would suggest play this for any council member or people that are in charge of your budget.
Great.
Kind of reframe the conversation around why it's so important to have a robust Parks and Rec system. So Sherry, why don't you go play number 1, and then we'll follow that with the Youth Sports Mastery show promo, which is immediately following this show. So we'll go ahead and play that, and we'll come right back and finish up our conversation with Jeannie.
When we talk about essential services, what comes to mind? Police, firefighters, healthcare. But there's another essential service, often overlooked, yet always present: parks and recreation. Parks and Rec is health. It's the walking trail that lowers blood pressure, the recreation center where seniors fight isolation, the swim lessons that prevent tragedy before it happens. This isn't a luxury, it's a lifeline. Parks and Rec is safety, a playground instead of a street corner, a basketball court instead of trouble, a summer camp where every child belongs. It's not just about activity, it's about protection, prevention, and possibility. Parks and Rec is community, the festival that brings neighbors together, the cultural event that teaches respect and diversity, the open space where a city breathes. It builds bridges where division once stood. It gives people a reason to gather, to connect, to care. And Parks and Rec is economics. It strengthens property values. It drives tourism through through events and trails. It saves on healthcare costs. Every dollar invested multiplies, feeding back into schools, into safety, into growth. Essential service is not just about survival, it's about thriving. And Parks and Recreation is where thriving begins. In wellness, in equity, in culture, and in joy. Parks and Rec isn't extra, it's essential. For our health, for our safety, for our communities, for our future. A message from the Parks and Recreation community.
At DPRS Media Co., we don't just create content, we elevate community through storytelling. Now, we're proud to introduce the newest addition to the family. Welcome to Youth Sports Mastery, the podcast where champions are shaped, not just on the field, but in life. Hosted by National Academy of Athletics founder Aaron Locks. Youth Sports Mastery dives deep into how youth sports can empower kids, strengthen communities, and build leaders. From coaching culture to recreation strategy, and from player development to parent impact, every episode brings game-ready insight from the people making it happen. Youth Sports Mastery goes live every Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Only on the Daily Parks and Rec Show, sponsored by National Academy of Athletics. And powered by DPRS Media Co. This is where purpose meets play.
All right. So what do you think of our little promo we made for essential services?
Absolutely 100% loved it, Craig. That is great. And you really need to come to our ORPA conference next year. You should
I'll do it.
do a session with us. That's the story that we need to tell.
Mm-hmm.
And your video encapsulated it perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's when you have a video editor that has edited maybe 2,000 hours of his time,
Yes.
he understands the industry so well.
He's done a good job there.
When I asked him to create something as a gift to the industry that we can use to help tell the story a little bit better to the people that are making those decisions, I was like, man, we got to give him something powerful that's just can reframe this conversation.
I really like that what you said in there, that it's not extra, it's essential.
Absolutely.
I can tell you so many stories that's not extra, it's essential.
Right. Well, and what we discovered is it's really the proactive side of a healthy community.
Mm-hmm.
And that if you don't, it's that old adage of an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Most certainly.
And so if an unhealthy community is what you're dealing with, then the police and the fire department and the hospitals are having to deal with an unhealthy community versus having a robust Parks and Rec proactive side of the community. You're not having to deal with a lot of those issues.
Exactly. Right. We are in a city ourselves, the residents, because we are a tourism town and a lot of us rely on the hospitality industry. We have a high poverty rate. That is when we step in with our free services or very low cost services to provide mental and physical health. I mean, it's what's needed in the community.
And two of the more obvious marginalized communities are like the elderly and the kids.
Yes.
And these are the two populations that I think Parks and Rec does such a good job. Maybe you can speak a little about both of those. What y'all do for the aging community and what you do for the young kids?
Most certainly, Craig. So one of the things that we've really tried to get the word out on is that Parks and Recreation is for all ages, all abilities. So we are building a new 7-acre park in our city, and it's got the first inclusive and accessible public playground on the Oregon coast for all ages. So playgrounds have always been thought of as just for kids, and rightly so. They are for our youth, but there's no reason when we turn 18 that we have to get off that slide or swing, especially if we can make and manufacture those slides and swings and other play amenities to withstand the size of an adult.
Mhm.
So when we opened that playground last year and opened it to all ages, we had people. I had an 89-year-old woman contact us that it was the first time that she had felt welcome on a playground in years. And she went on with her walker and was able to get on the in-ground carousel, on one of the large adult swings, and she was able to play with her grandchildren. And
Yeah.
that's what we want. We want intergenerational play. Adults don't want to just sit on a bench and watch youth play. They want to be involved in it, and they have every right to be.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. You know, it reminds me, I just recently last week got sent this hysterical video of this slide in Boston. I don't know if you've seen it, with this police officer coming down the slide.
No, I haven't seen
Oh,
it.
I'm gonna have to send it to you. I was rolling
Fantastic.
laughing. So there was this slide that was designed for just small kids. And if you're small, maybe like 60, 70 pounds or lighter, you just go down the slide. But if
Right.
you are maybe above 100 pounds, you come down that slide so fast that
Oh my
adults
goodness.
were coming out like a rocket ship, and
Yeah,
they had
yeah.
to actually redesign it. But
Yeah,
it took them like a year
you
to do it.
redesign that. That's funny.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so tell
There are
us
some
about
safety considerations for all ages, that's for sure.
right. Got to sign a waiver before you go down this slide. Tell us about what y'all do for the aging community and why that's so important to that population.
So we really, again, see all ages as equitable, and we try to traverse our programming to include all ages. We thankfully have a nonprofit that runs the senior center, which is physically attached to our community center. And then we run a lot of adult programs, but we don't just call them adult programs. They're really open for all ages. We're very much more about intergenerational programming.
Right.
Now, of course, during the school year, like right now, when the youth are in school, a lot of our programming for adults in our parks and in our community center, a lot of our programming is for adults because they're the ones that can attend.
Yeah.
But evening, weekend, summer, we do a lot of intergenerational programming, and that's everything from, oh my goodness, fitness classes, swim teams, swim classes, having people volunteer with youth programs, art, theater, anything we can get. So, because as you know, Craig, Parks and Rec is not just physical and mental health, it's socialization. And that's why a lot of adults specifically participate, especially the older population, in our programs.
Yeah. Okay. So because I know you'll be able to speak on this at a high level because of your childhood and everything that you're doing now, but maybe talk about how I'd say 9 out of 10 kids are never going to be on a high school team. That they're just not competitive athletes. They just weren't born with the athletic ability. But, we definitely want to include them because there's so many valuable lessons in coaching and being part of a team and winning and losing and learning to push your little body, even though if you'll never really be you might be a great cello player, but you're not going to be a great soccer player. And Parks and Rec does not leave this population out.
Right.
If anything, we try to make sports that are available to all levels of athleticism.
Exactly.
Can you speak about that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. So there's all kinds of sports, whether it's more team atmosphere or individual competition. And those are quite traditional sports that we offer. So things like cross country, running, swimming. While you're on a team, a lot of it has to do with your individual competition. And so we do provide those. We also provide the team atmosphere, which is leagues like soccer, basketball, futsal, volleyball, that sort of thing. And then there's also just athletic pursuits that are not just team-based, and that is in our camp programs. That's in our after-school program. We definitely make sure that there is a physical component daily to each of those programs. It's essential, not only to handle the socialization of the kids being together, no matter what your ability or interest in sports may be, but also for the socialization aspect. Children are in school all day. When they get out of school and come to our Parks and Rec programs, we don't need to have such a structured environment for them. Some of it's structured, but a lot of it is unstructured play in different avenues to get them to bond together, have a good time, and be healthy.
Yeah, I love that. So what does that unstructured play kind of look like?
Oh goodness. So we make sure for sure that every day, if we're doing youth programming, that there is unstructured. And that can even be when you're doing a team sport. It can be anything from doing an individual art project to reading time to doing laps around the court with the basketball at your own pace. Just something where the youth is not specifically directed in how to do the activity. This helps with their imagination. It helps with their independence and with their socialization with each other, because you'll see them starting to work together as teams on a lot of these projects when you haven't even asked them to.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Okay. So when we did our show prep interview, you spoke about inclusive design. You
Yes.
had mentioned neurodivergent, inclusive, accessible recreation. Can you kind of peel back the onion a little bit more? Tell us about how park design plays a big role in that.
I would love to, Craig. So there is a design out there for both recreation programs and park infrastructure called universal design. And it's got 7 different elements in it. But basically what it addresses is not only accessibility via mobility, which people have always connected to the ADA mobility guidelines for wheelchairs and other mobility devices, but it's also about inclusion. And inclusion means that you give opportunities to all persons that they can participate independently at their own ability. And how I'll break that down is you just make the program or the park amenity welcome to all. So that means if you have one type of swing, you try to make other types of swings that can work for other people with disabilities. Same with a slide, same with a recreation program. Inclusion is a change of perspective for a universal design. It's not, a lot of people say, well, that's going to be added to my budget. How can I put in a universal changing table? It's going to cost more. Or how can I do this? We need to have a change in perspective, which Parks and Rec is a leader on this, and that it's not extra, like your video said. Inclusion is not extra. It's just humanity. We want everyone to be able to access that playground, that rec program. Your budget will cover it. And by the way, a lot of these inclusive amenities are not high cost. Right. They're not. The misinformation is out there. So yeah, universal design is just about explaining it all. I just presented about this at the ORPA conference, which I'm going to invite you to next year.
Yes.
And we've just realized that there's an estimated 1.3 billion people in the world, and that's 16% of the world population that have disabilities. And that number is growing, and we need to include everyone.
Yeah. And then even you had mentioned something about MobiMats. I had never heard that before, but tell us about that and how that kind of adds to getting everyone on the beach, not just those that, are walking, but those that are kind of rolling out there.
Yes, exactly. Well, what's neat is we find these things, Parks and Rec professionals, often outside of our own area. And I found it when I was on vacation at Virginia Beach. I saw a MobiMat for the first time. One of my colleagues here in the city had just seen one on vacation in California. We didn't have any in Oregon at that point. And so we started looking at this product. It's a brand new product that's a 6 foot wide, 100% polyester, recycled polyester mat that you can roll out on the beach. You can roll it out over a muddy lawn. You can roll it anywhere, and it makes a soft surface accessible so that people that may have walking issues, use a cane, need a walker, use a wheelchair, are able to traverse that soft ground. And so what we do at our beach access is we have 900 feet of it in our city at multiple beach accesses, is we roll it out over the soft sand until it gets to the hard packed sand so that people can go out there. And I can tell you, we were amazed at the response we got of how many people told us they hadn't been out on the beach in 2 decades and now they could go out to the waves. And what we're most proud of in Lincoln City is a lot of our colleagues throughout the state have implemented MobiMats. There's so many communities up and down the Oregon coast now that have MobiMats. We've gotten the word out. We're being more accessible to everyone. It's even for a stroller, it's for everyone.
Oh yeah. Well, I was so I was mobile, but when I had all my kids out there and I'm having to drag for all the little
Or yes,
it's so much
yes,
better.
Dragons.
Yeah.
it is.
Okay, so let's maybe define the word inclusive.
Yes.
What does that mean to a Parks and Rec professional?
So inclusive, I actually want to say the right definition of it. So I wrote it down in case you asked.
Okay.
It provides opportunities for people of all abilities and all ages to play together and find challenges at their own level. So inclusive, for example, playgrounds go above and beyond the minimum standards of ADA accessibility to promote a truly inclusive experience. So people at your play amenity, whether it's a playground or not, feel like they belong. And so think of it this way. So many of us, me included, have not felt like I belong at a playground. I'm an adult. So now I'm starting to promote through my department that I've made swings and slides and a rock wall sturdy and big enough for adults. And we want you playing alongside your child, not just sitting on a bench watching them. So that's kind of the aspect of inclusivity, is finding ways to first offer it to all and to all abilities. And then we've got to promote it and say to get on out there and experience this with us.
Yeah. And the kids loved it. I remember when I would go to a playground, my kids would want me on the playground with them, playing tag, doing kind of stuff. And sometimes I felt like I was the only crazy adult out there doing that, but the kids love it.
Yeah, exactly, Craig. We used to, when we see playground equipment presentations, be sold, hey, here's the bench for the adults, the parents, the grandparents to sit on while they watch the kids. I mean, there was no question even to try to get the intergenerational play going, and that's changing. All of that's changing.
I love it. Now, where does that come from? It seems like, in addition to Parks and Rec, it seems like Oregon is kind of a leader in this field.
Yeah, I think we have my staff and I talk about it a lot. And I think what it is we just have, we have active nonprofits, disability communities that work with us. One's Beach Buddies for disabled adults. And they have let us know what they want and need. We have found, we didn't know what MobiMats were. I didn't know what a universal changing table was. All these new accessible and inclusive amenities, no idea. But once you find out that that's available, there's no turning back.
Right.
We have always, Parks and Rec have been community service minded, ethical, there for our community. And so I really think it just comes from us learning that these things are available. And then we start telling more people. And one of the coolest things that happened recently is Tillamook Parks crew came down there just north of us here on the coast to learn about MobiMats. And we showed them how easy it was to implement that program and low cost.
I love it. Okay, so I want to play this promo a little early because we usually play it at the end, but we made this promo basically to promote the industry as a career path. And so typically at the end of each of our interviews, I'm like, okay, Jeannie, give us a sales pitch. If you've got a group of college kids that don't know what they're going to do, give us a sales pitch for the industry. So we made this promo so that we can start that conversation so that if ever you have an orientation program for your part-time workers or your summer camp workers or lifeguards, you can play this and then you can stand up and give your personal testimony.
I would love that.
So Sherry, why don't you go ahead and play number 2, and then we'll come back and get Jeannie's take on this.
Every career is a choice, but few careers let you touch lives. Not once in a while, but every single day. Step into a park on a Saturday morning. You'll hear children laughing on the soccer field, families gathering for a picnic, seniors walking the trails, finding health and friendship. And behind every smile, every memory, is a Parks and Rec professional. We don't just mow fields, we grow confidence in young athletes. We don't just build playgrounds, we create safe spaces where childhood thrives. We don't just plan events, we design moments that anchor generations. Think of the coach who teaches patience, the director who champions equity, the staff member who sees potential in a child no one else believed in. Every day, Parks and Rec professionals shape character, preserve beauty, and strengthen community. And the path isn't easy. Budgets are tight, resources stretched thin, but the reward, unmatched. Because what you give comes back in legacy, in healthier communities, in lives forever changed. So why dedicate your life to Parks and Recreation? Because here, your work never ends. It lives on, in laughter echoing across playgrounds, in green spaces preserved for the next century, in the young professionals rising to lead tomorrow. This is not just a career, it's a calling, it's a legacy, it's Parks and Recreation. A message from the Parks and Rec community.
What'd you think of that one?
Well, your videographer is fantastic, Craig. I loved it. I talk through our Oregon Coast Community College, another partner of ours at the local high schools, about a career in Parks and Rec, and I will be using your video from now on.
Fantastic. Well,
Thank you.
it's on our YouTube channel. We don't copyright it. It's there for y'all to use.
Thank you.
Just lift up the industry. So what's your testimony to a group of young kids that don't know what they're going to do with the rest of their life?
My testimony has always been that you can have a career in Parks and Recreation, whether you like recreation, whether it's indoor or outdoor. It's about giving back to the community. And if you're looking for a job that you'll feel fulfilled at, that you'll be happy working at, that's giving back to the community in all different ways. And I explain how it's everywhere from maintenance to planning a park to being a lifeguard. This is the job for you. And I joke with them. I kind of wish I'd known earlier in my adulthood that I could have done it, but I've loved my career and it's a great place to go.
Oh, I love it. What a great testimony. Okay. So the last little tradition we have is our previous guests left you a question.
Oh my goodness.
And then you'll have to leave a question for my next guest.
Okay. Oh, wow.
So the question is from Sam. Oh yeah. And the question can be like, we've had from, if you were a piece of playground equipment, what would it be and why? all the way.
Give me that one.
Yes. Okay, then you get two questions. You get that one. And
No.
I love this question. So this comes from Sam Sonic from Trenton, Michigan.
Okay.
And she said, and she's a creative writer, but she says, what adjective would you give to your Parks and Rec department? Like the most likely to, kind of like in high school, most likely to become president, most likely whatever. But what adjective would you give your Parks and Rec department?
Oh my goodness. So the first one I thought of, which is not going to be my final answer, is most likely to succeed, because we're more than fun and games. We get the work done. You ask us to get something done, it's going to happen. I would say this might be most likely to succeed, but I don't think this is a superlative for high schools, but most likely to make your community a wonderful place to live.
I love it.
Maybe most likely to succeed.
I love that. I love that. Especially since y'all are such a tourist town and you're bringing people into your community.
Yeah.
Okay. So what question would you like to leave for my next guest?
Oh my goodness. Something fun like that. I don't, this is more of a serious question, but how do you look at inclusion in your Parks and Rec job? And inclusion can mean including all in your community.
I love it. I still want to know what piece of playground equipment you would want.
Gosh, I couldn't choose. I've been so so heavy into the playground program planning for the last 2 years that it just flashed through my head. I think I might go the traditional route and say swing, because I just like flying high in the air and it's such a stress reliever and you get to see everything around you.
Yeah. I think I would want to be, you ever see these new climbing structures? Like
yes,
Spider-Man?
we have them. Yes.
Yeah. But I've seen some of them that I'm looking at and saying, how is that legal?
I know. It's got to have a really strong fall surface.
Right.
Yes.
That's the one I want to be, the dangerous one.
I was thinking rock wall too. We've got a couple new ones.
I love it. Well, Jeannie, thank you so much for coming on to the show
Great.
today. Well, actually, before I let you go, tell us a little bit about your state convention. What is that like, and
Yes.
how is it doing? Because I know you're very active in it, so I want to give you a chance to talk about that.
Thank you. Our Oregon Recreation and Parks Association is a great state organization that pulls together parks and rec professionals across the state of Oregon. We have an annual conference, but there's so much more than that. We have different focus groups that meet. We have different committees, like the legislative committee that I'm on. A lot to support and promote parks and recreation in Oregon. And I love the annual conferences. We just had ours last week. We go and we learn so many different things, everything from maintenance to recreation programming to advocacy to fundraising. And Craig, I'm just thinking you'd be a perfect fit to go there next year. And I'm going to connect you with their director. It's a great organization to be with. I've learned so much throughout my career from ORPA.
Well, I would love to be there and show up with the whole crew and cover y'all's event and try to
Neat.
let the rest of the country and even the planet know what's going on in Oregon.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Craig.
Hope you had a great week and have an awesome weekend.
You too. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. So, wow, what a great interview that was with Jeannie over there from Lincoln City, Oregon, one of our West Coast parks. And if you haven't been out to Oregon, they have some of the most scenic coastline, I think, in the world. And you're talking to one of the Parks and Rec directors that kind of maintains that and makes sure that it's available to anybody to come and visit. Okay, so we got a lot coming up really over the next till the end of the year. We will be attending, as I've said before, Georgia, Louisiana, Kentucky. The first 3 weeks of November, we'll be airing live from those conventions, probably doing about 30 interviews per week. So we'll probably knock out 100 interviews just in the month of November at least. I really just want to thank everybody for getting us to our 300th episode. This has been quite a journey. Never thought it was going to blow up this fast, but it's just such a great industry to cover. And we've got a lot of hard people working to really lift up this community of Parks and Rec professionals nationwide and tell the story. That's just a beautiful story to tell about what Parks and Rec does for each of their communities and for the country as a whole. Next, we have the Youth Sports Mastery Show starting here in 30 minutes with our host, Aaron Lux. He is a professional, 40 years, 4 decades in youth sports, and brings some of the best coaches and some of the best minds when it comes to working with our youth through youth sports at the community level with Parks and Rec departments. He just does such a great job hosting that show and getting some really good people on it. And in addition to, his company works with Parks and Rec departments and helps them to facilitate some of the sports, some of the after school cares that maybe it's outside of their bandwidth. And so he'll come in with very well trained local coaches and staff and basically just runs the whole thing for you so that you can focus on other things. So I recommend y'all reach out to him if y'all want to maybe pick up an additional sport like volleyball or lacrosse, or even if you would just want to turn the whole thing over to him. But he'll be coming up next. It is a 1:30 p.m. Eastern show. Every Thursday, you can catch the Youth Sports Mastery Show. So this is Craig LeBlanc signing off for another great episode. Thanks again, Jeannie, for coming on to the show. And I will see y'all here tomorrow for the Young Professionals Network show, which is also an every Friday show, 12 noon Eastern. But again, thanks for all the love and support. Thank you for getting us here to our 300th episode. And we will see y'all here soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Behind every thriving park, every safe playground, every event-ready field, there's a team working before sunrise and long after sunset. This is Facility Maintenance, the only show created for and by the unsung heroes of Parks and Recreation. Brought to you by DPRS Media Co., where real work gets real recognition. From restrooms to rec centers, HVAC to turf tech, we go beyond the job site into the heart of operations that keep our communities moving. Our mission? To elevate maintenance teams through stories, solutions, and shared experience. Our vision? A world where every facility crew is seen, valued, and fully supported. Each episode features operators, innovators, and leaders, sharing tools, tech, and tactics that make the impossible look easy. Facility maintenance isn't just a job. It's purpose, it's passion, and now it's a show. Facility maintenance, where tools meet purpose, where work becomes legacy. Behind every thriving park, every safe playground, every event. At DPRS Media Co., we believe Parks and Recreation isn't just a service, it's the heartbeat of our communities. We exist to honor the people, the vendors, and the leaders shaping the future of Parks and Rec. Our mission is simple: to tell their stories, highlight their careers, and celebrate their essential work. Our vision is bold: to be the trusted hub where leaders, vendors, and communities unite, inspiring innovation, sharing wisdom, and building a stronger, healthier nation. Through over 220 live shows and 6 weekly series, the Leadership Series, Facility Maintenance, Young Professionals Network, Youth Sports Mastery, The Rec Room, and Growing Leaders, plus our industry-leading newsletter, the weekly Parks and Rec Post, we're building a media platform made for the Parks and Rec community. And now, we're inviting strategic partners to co-create this story with us. As a partner, you'll gain 12 hours of annual live exposure with custom shows highlighting your expertise, polished 60-second promos refined for maximum impact, year-round visibility with dozens of replays across our media network, premium features in our newsletter, and amplified social media reach across LinkedIn, X, and Facebook. This is your chance to educate, inspire, and lead while connecting directly with the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. This is DPRS Media Co. Let's build the future of Parks and Rec together.